More circumstance invest. We're talking about investing, finance, and professional for 30 tips only. The investment we're going to talk today would be ETH. First, I want to say happy Saturday, everybody. A great weekend, by the way. This is my second posting of today. Respect to recording time of 12:50 p.m. on the Eastern Time. Ethereum could trade $4,001, down about 5.22% so far. You could see clearly on the left side of the corner, the entire crypto market is still sustaining the bearish sentiment right now, currently down for all the crypto assets at the moment right now. And I'll say collectively, on a weighted average perspective, we are at a, kind of a mid double digits, in the teens, obviously. And respect to Ethereum is currently down about 5%, which is a little bit better in comparisons to the overall market. While Bitcoin is down about 11%, Dogecoin down about 13%, while in some of the other coins that are a little bit more severe, Polygon or MagTech and AVAX are both down 16.5% respectively, right? So is the sell-off over, or are we going to experience more fear mongering, driving more sell-off going forward? Or was this the dip that is the golden opportunity for us to build a more of a risk-averse profile into our portfolio? So before we do that, let's dive into the news front. And I would say the news are more regurgitation news around what has already been happening so far. So nothing really worth mentioning as I'm looking again. And I want to just be thorough with respect to some of the news that it did not cover. I'll say collectively in the last 6 hours, the news are just kind of the same. Talk about what's been happening, what is the quantitative percentage that would decrease by in the last 24 hours, what's been driving it. And a high-level synopsis of these articles is basically what's been driving this correction, right? We can keep tabs, right, with respect to some of the inflationary pressure that we've heard from the Jerome Powell and Janet Yellen testimony that we've heard in the consecutive Tuesday and Wednesday meeting. We've heard the COVID variant Omicron. Seems like the cases are spiking. In addition, just California, there are 10 states in U.S. that have identified cases also percolated, right? And also with respect to Friday, as we heard the cases worsening all over again. Also at the same time, bond yields spike all over again. And also with respect to the Chinese delisting and the crypto ban news, all percolated, while at the same time all occur on Friday with that weekend affectation. It's kind of a quadruple whammy. Obviously, some are more weighted than other, but on average, it's still negative, right? Which subsequently drive significant fear onto the market, right? So that's pretty much all the news. You don't have to read all the news, but these news are all talk about the same thing. With CNBC, with Decrypt, with Bazinga, with Financial Times, with Fortune magazine, they all talk about the same thing. So my job is to keep it more simplified, easily digestible for you guys, right? So respect to current level, as I'm recording as of 12:54 p.m. on the Eastern Time, Ethereum country $4,011, down about 5% at the moment. As you can see clearly, some of you guys are. I'm kind of jealous, kind of bummed at the same time that you guys were able to put your limit orders in anywhere between the $3,850 to $2,450 that we got early last night when I was dead asleep, right? It's unfortunate that I live in the U.S. on the East Coast, which if you think about it, is earlier than people on the West Coast. But despite that, I still wasn't able to capture such a golden opportunity of a price level that we've clearly identified in our technical analysis risk management, right? You might say that this was the prediction coming true. I would say no, this is not a prediction. It's just the technical speaking the truth, right? And right now, what the market is telling us is that it's fear driving this, right? This is very illogical, nonsensical at the same time, because this is very, very if you talk about a standard deviation perspective, this chart completely broke because this is a huge outlier into the momentum that we were seeing before, right? And which technically formed this cross section downward as we went upward, right? So right now with the 42 out of 70, right now hovering around the 4,000, right? And the logical dip was anywhere below, right? At the, again, right, 3,450, 3,850, right? And we already saw it, right? And people immediately got bought back up. So you could see how much of a healthy appetite we have among investors, right? So with respect to Bitcoin, down about 10% right now, or 11% even. We are at the very depleted zone, 29 or 30 out of 70. Remember, 30, 35 is way below oversold. So at the moment right now, it's down about 11%, with the 44 out of 70. 48, it's basic, not 44. It's just $44,000. That was the level that we got to as the next resistance level. And you could see clearly how much we oversold all the way to the $42,316, right? And I know some of you guys actually bought in. I would have actually totally bought in, because when we were at this level, at the 42,000, we were way below Earth crust. We were drilling oil, and that's why people everybody, even the mother, has bought in. You know what I'm trying to say? And that's exactly why we're reversing up right now, because that was an extreme outlier into the market momentum, right? So right now, are we, is the dip like over? I would say right now, still not a terrible level. We are still below 30. So incurring some risk right now is not a bad level, actually. I would say this is a relatively good level to incur risk. It's a logical level, because we're within the green zone of incurring risk, right, that we've identified so far. Some people even ask, do we see going below 40K? I would say that's relatively difficult, right? You have like how many resistance level? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So like it's like 5 resistance levels, right? And how much more fear can we drive even further beside, the fear that we already had last week? Last week was just a complete, craziness. You know what I'm trying to say? And it was like Black Swan news one over another, and then all, basically coagulated into a triple, not even triple, a quadruple whammy effect on Friday, right? So yesterday was just fear really pulling the plug, right, on driving us to the level that we're at right now. So Dogecoin right now is at 1750. We are basically, let's see if you look at historicals. We're basically hovering around like the current level that we have had before, basically when we got to the dip of 1601. And you can see clearly how much we have crashed down to at one point, crazy oversold to the 1294, right? Right now we're at the 2711 out of 70. So Dogecoin's not a terrible level to incur some risk at the moment. Cardano's at down about 11% respectively. Right now above the what's the level right here? These are getting so narrow. It's like 134, right? 134 was the next resistance level. 120 was the crazy dip which we got to. You could see clearly how we matched that completely. Right now it's very oversold, 31 out of 70. So incurring some risk anywhere around this level is not terrible. I think Cardano is very it's bearish now because of the macro catalyst, but bullish in terms of the setup on the technical and risk management front. Solana broke 200, and you can see clearly how we got to 173. That was the next level of resistance that we have here, right? But you can see clearly that we have some more room to fall down to despite the sell-off we've had, right? Because the real level is at 133 to 113 from here. XRP is at 79 right now, so ideally anywhere from the current level. 57 was an extreme oversold level, because that was like when we were like the 19 out of 70. That's really oversold. Like this is probably the most oversold I've ever seen on a crypto asset. So whoever bought at that 57 or 60, wow, that was a golden opportunity. Polkadot is down about 17% right now. This is really crazy. Anywhere from the current level to the 25 is the dip, and I think right now is the dip, so I would incur some risk actually for Polkadot. Algorand down about 11% at the moment. Anywhere from the 160 to 150 is the dip, so I think 160 is at right now. We are forming a death cross, 41 out of 70. So 136 was just absolutely insane because of the drag effect. It was just extreme oversold. It had really no logics behind why we got to 135. Flat number maybe, but I don't. This is just oversold, and this is the appetite or the lack of appetites that we have actually got to. So, with respect to Shiba Inu, again, right, anywhere from the 2800 all the way to 900 is still the dip from here. Polygon or Mattax, that's down 16% right now. Anywhere within the frame that we've identified, 175, 143, 120, would be logical, and I think we might see more sell-off for us to get down to 143 because we are curving down right now. We are on the basically ways away on getting down to a death cross. So right now, incurring some risk would make sense, but I think we might have a little bit more sell-off coming. AVAX down about 17% as well. 81 was the dip, right? 81.60 was technically the dip, right? So with respect to the current level at the 42 out of 70, I probably would hold off a little bit because this seems like a head and shoulder pattern. I mean, right now it's not a terrible level because we have some consolidation that we have formed. But I think for me, if I'm building a first time in terms of entry, 60 would be still a better level. To 60 to 50 is still my frame of reference I will be incurring risk at. With respect to the risk management level, these are levels that we have laid out in front of us. And again, this is not wizardry. This is not really a prediction. This is just the risk management projected based on the current technical levels that we have identified here, right? So feel free to use this as your reference. I know we are within the levels for multiple of these crypto assets here. So it's up to your tolerance and your cash reserve that you have in front of you to start chipping in a little bit. I think the time is now, for you to incur some risk. Not load up on your whole piggy bank, but like just maybe put like 10-15%. Makes sense to me, right? It's always, if you have some chips, next to you, you have some room for you to mitigate the risk going forward, right? So hopefully this is helpful. Hope you guys have a great Saturday as well. And let me know if you have any specific questions. And yeah, let me know and have a good weekend. Try not to worry so much, right? And I'm very happy that you guys got the limit orders in, even though I didn't, but I am just happy that you guys made some gains as much as I'm making personal gains as well, right? All right, that's it for today. Take care.